Let's do this.
Going in games.
Hey guys, it's AutoWibs, and today I've got my first swanky-ass brew from Journey Into Nyx, which is Green-White Enchantress. Now this deck has it all. It's got sweet dudes, cards your opponents have probably never even heard of, and one little 0/5 poised to change the world all by his lonesome. It makes you wonder, do spellslingers really dream of enchantment sheep? Only one way to find out. So the list goes as follows. 4 Nyx-Fleece Ram, 4 Courser of Kruphix, 4 Eidolon of Blossoms, 2 Boon Satyr, 1 Heliod God of the Sun, 1 Karametra God of Harvests, 4 Mana Bloom, 1 Blind Obedience, 4 Banishing Light, 4 Sphere of Safety, 1 Dictate of Heliod, 2 Primeval Bounty, 2 Kruphix's Insight, 2 Elspeth, Sun's Champion. We got 7 Forest, 5 Plains, 4 Temple Garden, 4 Temple of Plenty, 2 Mutavault, 2 Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx. Okay, so now the fun begins. First up, we'll talk about the reason this deck can even exist, and that's my girl, Eidolon of Blossoms. God, I love her. What? That's not weird. Everyone loves tree spirits. It's called necrodentrophilia for you folks at home. But seriously, what's not to love? Okay, so she costs 4, which is the most we've had to pay for an Enchantress across Magic's history. But you get to draw a card as soon as she enters the battlefield, and that's definitely worth that 1 extra mana. Oh, and let me tell you how it feels once you start drawing those extra cards. It's awesome. Blossom. Basically, the deck works like this. Ideally, you're looking to play a Temple or a Temple on turn 1. Then turn 2, we get some options. We got Mana Bloom, which serves as better than Sylvan Caryatid in this list for 2 reasons. A, because it's an all-important enchantment, and B, because it's got that even more important little bit of text at the bottom. That's right, peeps, you draw this bad boy off the top late game with an Eidolon out, and you're like, play my Mana Bloom for 0, draw a card? And you don't just mean this turn, you mean every turn until they find a way to deal with that Eidolon. There's also one of Blind Obedience, but that's there for the extort triggers more than anything else. But I'm not going to say the little guy hasn't come in handy, because he has. It does serious work against monsters, especially Xenagos. It just makes him a turd. It stops dragons, slows down Elspeth. I even had a game against Super Jail where the guy resolved his Elixir of Immortality, forgetting it came into play tapped, and just lost on the spot because of it. But most of the time, you're going to be resolving this glorious bastard on turn 2. Now I know I'm not the only one that loves this star-wollen son of a bitch. You guys love him too, right?
Yeah.
Good, because this guy's nuts, and it's not often you get to say that about a 0/5. He hits the field and lets nothing pass.
You shall not pass!
And the life gain, while not all that much, can get way out of hand when you just leave him on the field. And that brings us to our turn 3 play, and Rami over here is best friend. Now, if we got on the Mana Bloom plan and we have an Eidolon in hand, well, we're probably just trying to play that out. ASAP. But, on the average, you're looking to play Courser of Kruphix right this second. Mofo is an advantage machine, and with Eidolon of Blossoms out, he makes up the other half of our no-holds-barred, draw-all-cards slam fest. Seriously, you get these two guys together, and you're just gonna have way too much of everything for your opponents to deal with. So yeah, turn 4 is then obviously a simple decision tree. Do I have Eidolon of Blossoms in my hand? Yes? Then play it, jeez. And if the answer is no, then, well, you're Nah, just kidding, that's why there's so many reactive cards. You didn't think I'd give you a list with 1 game plan and no utility, did you? I might. But no, that's why we have things like O-Ring, Boon Satyr, and Kruphix's Insight. Huge dudes or other problem permanents? O-Ring. More manageable guys you just feel like getting off the board? Hold up 3 mana and run out that Boon Satyr and tell him to
deal with it, you twat!
But if you're looking to get on that Kruphix's Insight plan, you gotta play it a bit smarter. Now don't get me wrong, the card's fantastic, but you need to make sure you're good on mana first because this card will find 3 lands, and those 3 lands will be going in your graveyard. But binning 3 lands and drawing a Banishing Light and Eidolon of Blossoms in a Sphere of Safety is as backbreaking as it gets. Speaking of which, turn 5 we're obviously trying to get Sphere of Safety down because, well, this is where we win, folks. Especially if we have another Sphere of Safety just waiting to come down next turn. As long as your opponent is unable to profitably attack, which how could he when we have things like Rami and Courser out, you're free to just sit and draw away until you get something like Elspeth, Primeval Bounty, or even our one of gods, Heliod and Karametra. Now Spizzle over here is where it's at. All you need to do is get to that emblem and just send in whatever you got. Dudes, rams, vaults, it all gets the job done. Our other rather potent win condition is, of course, Primeval Bounty. I have been trying to slam this card in something since the day it was printed, and god damn it, I think I found it. Every mode on this thing is relevant. You don't even need Sphere out to make it good. Play a dude, get a dude. Play a spell, make previously said dude huge. Play a land and just laugh in your opponent's general direction. And Primeval Bounty gets especially ridiculous when we have Karametra out. Now every dude we're playing is also getting us a beast and gaining us 3 life. Backbreaking as Sure, it might be win more at that point, but that doesn't make it any less enjoyable. In Heliod, just the constant stream of dudes we get to make from him is preposterous. And they're enchantments! Cards for days! Things get especially ridiculous once you get a Nykthos out and you're just making 2 of these guys a turn. All of a sudden, your turtle strategy turns into one of unleashing your minions upon the world. You're just like,
Fly, you fools!
oh yeah, there's one card we haven't touched on yet, and that's our one of Dictate of Heliod. I almost forgot about that. I didn't almost forget about that. Dictate is way better than you think it is. It's pretty much just another Elspeth emblem. Should your Elspeth get downfalled or dreadboard, you just get to make your dudes huge anyway, at the end of their turn. And if there's anything Rammy loves more than being a 0-5, it's getting to be a 2-7. They grow up so fast. Alright, well now that does it for the main deck. Time to move on to the sideboard. We got 1 Bow of Nylea, 2 Aegis of the Gods, 2 Archangel of Thune, 3 Mistcutter Hydra, 1 Deicide, 2 Ready and Willing, 2 Renounce the Guilds, and 2 Selesnya Charm. Okay, so Bow of Nylea isn't just a house, it's a goddamn mansion. Its Swiss Army Knife status definitely gets to shine in this deck. The gain life mode is what ends up getting used the most because it just negates opposite at triggers and keeps you in the game long enough that you can just get to one of your other win conditions. And I don't know if you noticed this, but we draw a lot of cards in this deck. And although it's not typical, you can find yourself matched up against Control or some other nonsense and get yourself in the danger of just milling yourself out. But by signing in Bow, you can draw as many cards as you want without having to worry about just killing yourself in the process. Now, Aegis of the Gods may look innocuous, but his role can be quite profound in certain matchups. Not that Thoughtseize isn't good against everything, but there's the problem that Lifebane Zombies kind of a lot better against us than most other things. So Aegis comes in against the multitude of black-based decks currently rolling the format. They either have to choose him to be discarded over something they actually want to take, or just waste removal on him, and that's fine by me. Now, Archangel of Hoon is completely insane with the amount of life gain triggers we have in this deck. You've got some upkeep sheep triggers, you got some bounty triggers up there, and I mean, this is just another thing to add to that Courser of Kruphix advantage fest. Now, you want to bring this glorious angel in against the ever-present red-white burn decks, you can bring it against Jund, and just pretty much any red-green monsters list that you're going to run into. Now, Mistcutter Hydra is pretty much an auto-include in any sort of green-based deck these days. This giant Alaskan Bullworm is going to completely tear through mono blue and control lists like it's cutting through mist. Now, most of the time, like 99.99% of the time, it's guaranteed damage, and it's really hard to get rid of if they don't have a Wrath effect. Deicide is just a better version of Revoke Existence, regardless of whether you can hit an artifact or not. Every deck is running enchantments, and having this effect at instant speed can be backbreaking when done at the right time. Not to mention it can surgically extract a god, but when's that gonna happen? All the time. Now, Ready and Willing is actually a really late addition to this list. Now, I was running Rootborn Fence because it effectively counters Supreme Verdict. But with Ready and Willing, we get a slightly better effect at a slightly less lenient cost, but we also have the added bonus of getting to play Willing if we actually have the black mana laying around from Mana Bloom somewhere. Renounce the Guilds! Does anyone even know what this does? No, don't bother looking it up, I got it right here. Let me tell you, this 2-cost instant does more work than a white guy on a dance floor. Believe me, I know. Now, adding this in was a real eureka moment for me. I mean, it's so good against so many things. Detention Sphere, gone. Bob's a dad, never meeting those children. You know, that goes for Baron Von Duschnutz over there, too. And it's the single best answer I found for early Domri and Xenagos. Now, rounding out the list, we got 2 Selesnya Charms, and those there to beat down the big old bastards that's going to try to beat us down before we can really do anything and get on our game plan. And let me tell you about the strong middle finger it gives to the likes of Polychronos, Desecration Demon, and once again, that Bob's a Father. And some other modes can be useful in a pinch as well. Making a soldier to block down a Mutavault never stops feeling good. Well, that's all, folks. I hope you take the time to graze the pastures of victory with Rammy and friends, because this seemingly pile of jank may just be the real deal. Don't forget to like the video and hit that subscribe button as hard as you possibly can. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, yada yada. I mean, I know you guys hear it all the time, but look, links! All the work's been done for you. And definitely comment. I'd love to know if you guys like this style of video, and I'm always looking for new ideas for decks, so please send them my way. Till next time, peeps, Wibs out.